So actually, we are a government agency. I'm not a CEO, but I am the division chief of the local investment, economic development and investment promotions office of the Bataan PPP and Investment Center. So what I'm here to talk about is a different point of view or from a different perspective. Show you a perspective from the government side. So what we want to do to help startups or aspiring entrepreneurs like you yourself and our participants here. Um, I just would like to stress the importance or what we are doing because we saw that there is a lack of innovation that is happening, particularly in the province of Bataan. Economic wise, we are doing very well. We have been awarded multiple awards and recognitions. We were awarded the most business friendly province for we won that award twice for in the last 5 years. One first in 2018 and last year 2021. So, but what we saw that is lacking is that there's a lack of innovation, lack of aspiring entrepreneurs here in the province. So what we and over the course of my talk here in my presentation, I'll show you what we do and what we try to uh, spark the entrepreneurial spirit of Bataeños. So before that, I'll talk about myself first, since I would like to tell you my story, why I wanted to speak in this kind of engagements. No, first I will thank Lance and the rest of the team for giving me the opportunity. So I'll tell you something about me. So I'm a psychology graduate from the University of the East. But growing up, I was embedded this entrepreneurial spirit, this entrepreneurial mindset. It started with my mom. She is a businesswoman. She has a construction company. He has a property development company, scattered all throughout northern Luzon, particularly. That's why I landed in Bataan. But we are based in Manila, anyways. So growing up in high school, I started selling bootleg DVDs, yung mga pirated DVDs, selling them for a profit. I'll buy it in bulk sa mga sellers because I live in Green Hills at the time. So I buy it from different sellers there, and then I sell it for a profit. So I put if the CD is 50 pesos, I'll put up I'll add on 20 pesos and then I'll sell it to my classmates, to my students, fellow. But it's not really ethical. But at the same time, I just wanted to show you that the entrepreneurial spirit is really embedded in my advocacy. But when I was in college, when I turned 18, I was fortunate enough that my mom, uh, all of my ampaos, my aguinaldos, she saved it up and gave it to me with the message that you can spend it however you want, but be smart about it. And growing up having this entrepreneurial mindset, I was smart about it. I opened up a business. So what first I took a look at myself, evaluated myself. What do I love to do? If you know me, I love to eat. So I started a restaurant. So I started a restaurant in Gilmore. If you're familiar with the area, it's where you buy computer parts and all that technology stuff. So I opened a restaurant there. So I evaluated. Okay, aside from the stores, there's St. Paul University. There's a call center. I think Sykes was the call center. There's also a residential place, Princeton residence there. Jubilee Christian Academy was also there. So there's a lot of foot traffic that comes in and out of the place. So aside from that, the LRT station was also there. Gilmore Station was right beside my store. So I have a different story. Hearing some of the previous speakers here, one of their first ventures were a failure. But me, it's quite different. It was actually a success. So I got a taste of early success growing up. So I was doing that along with studying in UE. So I always had this, confidence or arrogance that whatever I get into, it will be a success. So not knowing differently or not being smart about it, just in a couple of months, I opened up a second branch. Again, having that arrogance. It was a success. The second branch was a success, but I started a third branch. Then there the problem, or then the problems showed already. So what I saw basically is that I mismanaged it, so particularly supply chain management, the finances, and the accounting. I messed it up. So in a couple of years, business was going down, and I eventually had to close it. So the lesson here is that early success um, does not signify that you're going to be successful later on. So it has to be step by step. You have to always evolve. You have to always learn. So I took that as a lesson, and I started to educate myself. I started to attend workshops, webinars, anything that I can get into. I did that along uh, with my studies. But when I eventually graduated, I realized that I lacked the foundation of doing business. I didn't have an accounting course. I didn't have any management course in college. So I started to look schools here in the country, maybe getting my master's, getting my anything. So I took a look at schools, but eventually I was fortunate enough to get a scholarship from Holt International Business School in Boston. So I got my MBA there. I spent a year and a half there. I entered for a company called GrabHub. It's a food delivery service similar to GrabFood, but I would say it's a direct competitor of Uber Eats in the US. So I was based in Boston. I entered there. I learned how the company started. It started with a couple of guys just looking at food delivery, how it was difficult for them to get food in their area. So I started to learn from their story, and then I got another internship this time from a couple of German guys who started their. It's a smart um, scuba snorkeling system. It a snorkeling system that monitors your breathing, oxygen level. It's all digital and all that. So they started in Florida. I interned there. I was actually while going to class in Boston in the mornings. Eventually, I attended their online meetings, but they were happy with my performances. So eventually, they started flying me out to Florida, to Jacksonville. So I learned from them that there's always room for innovation. Always room for evolving, and it shouldn't stop from. Your current situation shouldn't stop you from pursuing anything that will help your company grow. So they had troubles in financing, they had troubles in funding their product because it's a niche product. It's not really for the everyday people. So they had a problem with marketing it. So eventually, what they did is that they just focused on one particular area that has high number of scuba divers in Florida. So that's what they did. That's how I learned. So you ask yourself, why am I speaking here? If I have this entrepreneurial spirit, why am I working for the government? Right? I'm just an employee. Although I do have some businesses on the side. I have my own startup that I'm currently developing, but my main source of income is working for the government. But you ask yourself, why am I still working if I have all this business on the side? I'll tell you why. Because one of my advocacies is actually serving your fellow Filipinos. While I was in Boston, I was a member of this club called Pan Harvard Club. Actually, one of the members during my time there was Aika Robredo, the PP's daughter. So we were there at the same time. So, anyways, what I learned from Filipinos there is that what they observe, having the comparison of living in the US versus living in the Philippines, is that Filipinos are generally just looking for a stable source of income. They just wanted to be employees rather than entrepreneurs because they don't want to take risks. They don't want to put up their own finances for financing for opening up a company. It's still lacking. The entrepreneurial mindset, the entrepreneurial spirit is still lacking in the core of the Filipinos. So what I wanted to do is work for a government agency that will promote entrepreneurship. And I'll tell you all about our programs that we are currently doing. So I'll just give you a brief intro on what my department is doing. So we are the Bataan PPP and Investment Center. So we are the official investment promotions arm and the economic development agency of the provincial government of Bataan. So ask yourself, why am I working in Bataan if I'm based in Manila? Simple, because Bataan by nature is a very, very, I would say, strong or resilient province. If you know the story of Bataan, it started with the fall of Bataan during World War II, and we always market Bataan. Now is the time of the rise of Bataan. We are always top 10 in the locally sourced revenues. We're always performing well economically. Our GDP is quite low compared to the national rate. So it's it's a local government agency that I really wanted to work for because I saw the leadership. I saw how good governance does work if it's done right. I had an opportunity with working with other LGUs, but I passed on them knowing the history of the leaders. I won't mention those LGUs anymore because it's not really it's not really productive having these negative opinions about them. So, anyways, so we have a support system. One of our congressmen, Joet Garcia, was actually the one of the primary authors of the Startup Innovative Act. No, so he is actually the incoming governor. He was just voted. So one of his personal advocacies is promoting innovation and technology in the province. So we have our own, aside from the DICT, we have our own local ICT. He and his brother was the one who started it, and then um, promoting it all throughout the province. We have our own local chamber of commerce. We always promote the idea of the government partnering with private partners. That's why our department's name is PPP and Investment Center. PPP means public-private partnerships. So our support system includes we market ourselves like an incubator program for local startups. So we do have design thinking courses. We offer startup competition, particularly with our partners in the local universities and colleges. So we recognize that based on our research, years of research, um, there was a lack of advocacy. Basically, there's no clear direction on how we can help these students who are gifted, who are really talented, who has the idea but lack the resources, lack the knowledge, or lack guidance. So we wanted to uh, be a local department or an agency that will help them develop their ideas, develop their concepts, and make it into a viable business. So we recently started it right after the pandemic. When I got my position officially late early 2021 rather. So when one of the first things that I did was under the leadership of the governor and all that, I wanted to push this advocacy of startup development, entrepreneurship. So aside from this, we do have uh, design thing. Well, uh, we are looking for partners for designing an e-commerce platform for MSMEs. So we want to help them, show them a way for them to harness their ideas, be able to make a viable business. So here's our support system throughout my work. No, we've forged partnerships with different private companies. We have a talent development service who actually trains people in IT, lightweight solutions, and growth hack playground digital marketing platforms or digital marketing agencies that conducts classes, guidances, and mentorship to our participants. We have our local JCI, Bataan, Juan Tax, who are helping out with developing fintech companies here. Anytime Mailbox, all that companies, they are planning to open up a virtual office and co-working space here at the government center at no cost. They will invest in this in the hopes of having multiple partners. Aside from that, we have our Philippine Chamber of Commerce. We have a partnership, a memorandum of agreement with them. Of course, our partnership with the different national agencies like the DTI, the ICT, the OST, ICTS. So we do have all of these partnerships already going for us. So in a span of a year, we've been able to develop three startups along with our students from the Bataan Peninsula State University. Uh, so Easy Accounting Software is actually partnering with One Tax of getting partners, getting services from MSMEs and businesses around the province. Seed Papel, they're actually looking to rebrand because they have problems with the registration. Anyways, also Bulong, it's actually this is quite something. Bulong is something that I will be personally investing in. It's a online marketplace for seafood. So seafood that's coming from the province. So if you know Bataan, Bataan is known for their sugpo, their crab. So this is something that I'm personally invested in, not just as an agency, but personally, I will actually help finance this group. So again, my presentation and my talk is short, but I would like to end this with a couple of things. No? Continue to educate yourself. Education is a continuous process. If you're going to entrepreneurship, you are going to learn how to fail and how you recover from that. I will tell you the first early part of my career, it was a humbling experience. I lost money. I I I suffered anxiety, but at the same time, I recovered from it. I just continue to educate myself, equip myself to be better prepared when things go bad. But at the same time, I wanted to serve my fellow Filipinos, so that's why I am in government. I wanted to help Filipinos who are not as privileged as me, and in order to do that, the best way that I could think of is being involved in the government. Because I have the reach, I will have the networks, will have the capacity to reach those Filipinos who will be needing my help or needing my assistance. And lastly, don't lose hope. I know some of you are not really optimistic in terms of the leadership going forward with the recent election results, but at the same time, uh, let's do our part. Uh, by being entrepreneurs, you are going to be generating multiple jobs, generating income, and that can help serve your fellow Filipinos. And and by being entrepreneurs, you are the hope that will shine for your fellow Filipinos. So, again, thank you very much. Here's my email. You can also reach me on Facebook and LinkedIn. And if you need to contact me, if you want some advice or anything else, any kind of mentorship, please don't be afraid to reach me. So thank you very much to Lance and the rest of the team, and I look forward to your questions later on in the event. Thank you very much.